Welcome,
Okay.
welcome, Isabelle,
Thank you.
to the People Tribe.
Thank you.
Isabelle, the game changer.
Thank you. Thank you. Yes.
Yeah. So, are you gonna share? I've been very curious. So, horses and leadership. So, how
Yes,
do you explain the
absolutely.
magic?
Absolutely. Yeah. It's been quite a journey to get there. And yeah, my passion was always for horses. You know, as a little child, you love animals. And I started horse riding when I was very small. So I come originally from Austria, and I'm in India since 2007 now. And I kept up my passion with horses and horse riding. And I was working at BMW at that time in a function of leading the operations. And there we found out how do we get the people in the right, German efficiency, German production standards, how do we, get this all up. And we found out that the biggest issue is like how the team leaders lead the teams and how the managers get all the soft skills and leadership skills in place, uh, is really the key role. How do they motivate them, appreciate them? And we did a lot of interventions at that time, and nothing really stuck with them. It went in and it went out on the other side. So I said, okay, let me do a trial with the horses. And I've come across, it's not something I invented myself. It is there actually in Germany since now 25 years. And there is a system how do you teach leadership skills with horses. And I attended that training, and I became a certified trainer for this about 5 years ago now. And then I started using it, and people were really happy with that. And you saw that they remembered things so much longer. And that's really where it started to take off. And then I got a lot of requests, and at one point I quit my job and started doing that full time. So
Wow,
yeah.
awesome. Awesome to hear that, Isabel. And I know I've been a working professional for 25 years. And I truly get it, when it comes to motivating people and,
Yeah,
trying to bring them closer to the, shared vision of the organization. And the
correct.
organizations always want to do something different. And I think your concept is totally different. At least I came it across, for the first time. So I know you've done this with a lot of organizations. Now you've been, certified since 5 years, and you've already done this with a lot of organizations, the big ones. So what
Yes.
are actually, people's first reaction when they go through this whole new unique experience?
Yes, so it depends. Are they going? So now we are running two things basically. One is the virtual mode and one is the in-person mode. So we have restarted the in-person trainings from November, December. And now especially like manufacturing companies who are anyway working, we are providing them also a safe space to do their in-person programs. And they are coming in person. So if people come in person, the only challenge is to get them here, I would say, because when people get an invite, or when it's about like you are going to go on a horse farm. And so I have some HR professionals who send out the invite, and they give them, they say, we block your day and it's an outbound training, but we are not going to tell you what you're going to do. And then people come here and then they see the horses. So the first thing for many of them is a little shock, I would say. And then getting them close there, but within a few minutes we make them comfortable. I mean, we work with horses since all our life, and we have trained like from like our youngest riders are like 3 years old up to like seniors and retired people who want to learn horse riding. So you really get a big range, and it's all about them basically realizing that the horse is not going to harm them, because horses are flight animals. So by nature, they are an opposite to a dog or a tiger, which is like a hunting animal. So they are prone to, you know, try to fetch something, or they are prone to bite. But the horse is not going to bite unless, you know, it has been mistreated or something like that, or even
Right.
kicked or something like that.
Like I think any animal.
Um, so it's really for them to build a trust. And after a few minutes, people build a trust with the horse, and then they do exercises with them. So they need to take the horse for a walk, or they need to lead the horse through an obstacle course and navigate them, and have a conversation where there are no tools involved. You will be in a big ring, like almost like in a bullfighting ring with one horse, and you need to get the horse to do certain activities, and then you need to make it stop and come to you. And this all works in the same way we communicate with each other. Now, if you go to step into your boss's office and he or she has a very important project on the line, he will say, come, and now you're going to do that, and you need to come back in 2 hours and give me a report, and this is really important, and we really depend on you, and you need to drive in your power. That's where the horse will also start realizing, okay, now I need to really bring in the energy. And then it's all about also taking it out and saying, you did a good job, and now we go for a casual walk, and how can I, you know, calm down? How can I regulate the energy, and how can I really motivate them when it's time for motivation, which has actually very little to do with the words, which we always think, but it has too much to do with, you know, all the nonverbal communication, the tone of voice. And the horses can read even your, they read your blood pressure. They read, to a certain extent, they can figure out your mind and your mood. There was a scientific study done that they recognize more than, I think, 25 different facial expressions on a human. Yeah? So I don't know if I recognize that many on a human. So, but
Yeah.
because a horse is made so millions of years in order to survive, they had to run away from like tigers or like wolves and big hunting animals, or like thunderstorms or whatever. So
Yeah.
they are really fine-tuned to read when it gets dangerous for them. And that makes them so prone to work with, in that leadership aspect with humans, because this is where we often don't have that, that self-reflection or that feedback what we need, where human to human there's always going to be either time delay, or there's always going to be some stereotyping or some unbiasedness because of your name or your clothes or your age or your gender or whatever you want to do. Yeah?
True. True.
And horses, they don't have that. They respond to somebody who is like 3 feet tall in the same way to somebody who might be 6 feet tall. They really don't make a difference in terms of your outer appearance.
Yeah.
And it's the same all over the world. You can work with horses all over the world. They respond to the same innate things, and it's not, you know, sometimes people come here and then after half a day they say, oh, these are very special horses, and of course they're very special to us, but they have no special training for this kind of workshop. And we do these workshops all over the country. We do them in Europe as well. And you can do that even with a wild horse. It will take you more time, and you would not really put somebody who has never touched a horse together with a wild horse, because they are super sensitive. Or it's like a race horse. It's like you have a Olympic level athlete, and you put him together and tell him to give a class to somebody who is just starting the sport, they will kind of go mad. So they're fine-tuned to a little different things, but in general, it works the same. And it's just, yeah, I think very important for leaders to get to know how much impact empathy can make and how much impact trust has on the relationships. And if you ask people after the workshop, they say, I trust the horse now 80% or 90% or 100%. And then we usually ask them, so now how long does it take for a new employee, a new joiner to build that same trust? And then you're talking about weeks and months and years to build that same trust level as you built with a horse, even though you never knew that before.
Yeah, absolutely.
And there are two very simple ways how you build so much trust in a short time. That is, one, you realize that the horse is unbiased, and you realize that the horse is always honest and always authentic. So it really helps us to communicate better if we know, oh, this is an honest person or honest living being.
Yeah, true.
And the second part is that the horse actually gives you the trust first.
Okay.
So the horse is going to trust you, and because you realize, oh, that horse is actually trusting me wherever I am leading it, the horse is just like very very trusting and very much with a positive outlook. You realize, oh, now somebody is trusting me, so I can also give my trust, and I can.
I think in the process it builds the self-confidence in the person who's riding that horse. Yeah,
absolutely.
That's a great insight, Isabelle. So after a day or a two, I mean, I'm sure you have some different, programs. So what is the outcome, that is expected by the individual who are participating in these workshops of yours?
Yeah. So it really depends. We have a lot of different corporate clients. So some of them want to work much more on the leadership level, bringing the leadership understanding up. So embodying or enabling and empowering their leaders to really do something more, to bring out more potential in their teams. And I think that works really well because you realize that things are working if you implement things, and you always need to take the action. So if we start talking about, for example, when we start talking online, we say leading by example, and I have a group of leaders who are in the mid to senior level, then they have all heard of leading by example, and they say, oh yeah, we know that, and we are doing that, and of course we are doing that. And then when you give them a horse in the hand and you say, now you need to lead by example, then they figure out, oh, this is actually what it means. You cannot tell the horse, you're going to do this now. You have to actually do it. And then you figure out it has to do with being brave, a little bit at least, yeah? Taking the first step, taking the initiative. You cannot send somebody first. You cannot tell your other people or your horse to go first when you are supposed to lead by example.
Yeah.
You have to embody the right energy and the right attitude for it, because if you go and say, okay, I am going, and you're kind of not very confident in your own skills or in your own ability, then it's not going to work out. And that's like the simple things where we really come back to, and then we do situational leadership, change management, agility. And that's also very interesting because we have done a lot of change management and agility, of course, in the last few months, where we do things online. And you might think, it's just, another training, but people see the horses. So we make case studies, and we have videos from our horses. Part of the exercise is a life where you see the horse's life, and we put that on the screen, and you see how do horses respond to change. So how do horses respond in a VUCA environment, in a highly complex, volatile world? How do horses respond to change? And they respond with the first thing with a flight response, which is their nature, running away from things. And it's same for humans. What have humans done when something new comes? Of course, you can't see it as much with the humans because they not literally run away. But horses, they literally run away. You can see the fear in them, that they are like very unsecure, very, very unsure what to do. And then comes the second phase. Once they kind of realize the changes in the environment, they are going to check it out. And then you basically have different characters. So what happens when COVID hit, or when a change hit in the company? Of course, all of them have a certain level of anxiety, stuff like that, stress. And then you have some of them which are slowly going to check it out. What is that new thing? What is that change? These are the proactive leaders which we want to actually cultivate. And then you have the others who you see, they are only going to do something based on watching these proactive leaders, who are saying, oh, they are successful with what they do, or we can follow them. Or they land up in trouble, we just stand and wait and see. And when you see that with the horses, you realize it's exactly the same dynamics playing out in the human or in the organizational world, in the business world. And then it becomes very easy, because once you realize it, and if a horse can change it, then I think better, very well educated leader can also change it. So it really comes back to realizing simple but profound dynamics of leadership, and trying to make use out of that.
Yeah, absolutely. And Isabel, if I may ask, I mean, out of the organizations or the participations you've had in past, have there been a repeat, like people coming back to you, say yearly, or a quarterly, to do the activities again? I mean, the workshop again.
Yes, in fact, we have many people who sometimes call me and say, I want to come back, I want to come back. So sometimes they come back with the whole families, and because we focus on corporate training, so we only do, like, most of the stuff what we do is only for corporates. Yeah. So of course the manager signs up, the teams or their leaders, and we have actually clients who come back like once a year. Mm-hmm. Now, yeah, so they call back and say, yeah, we want to do it again, and then they bring some of the old people and some of the new ones, and they really enjoy it, and it's something which really they remember for a long time, and they remember, oh, it really made a difference when I appreciate the horse. And you see that even if you appreciate the horse with a pat, or you appreciate it with a voice or with a treat, the horse kind of shows you that it's very happy with that, and you realize how much effect that can have. And I think as humans, I think the empathy gets stronger with animals. I mean, there's a lot of research done that empathy is much stronger with children, and then you bring animals inside because they are so innocent. Yeah, the empathy quotient is just much bigger than if you have an adult in your organization, so you realize much more about these things.
Yeah. I think your workshop builds empathy in the leaders, and that is the need of the hour. that we had during COVID last year and even this year. And I've been reading all through that, empathy is the most critical skill every leader should possess. Thank you so much, Isabelle. I think we are on time.
Most welcome.
A lot of insight, you've shared. I'll post this on LinkedIn, and happy to help.
Awesome.
I mean, the help I can do is posting this video on LinkedIn, but if there is
Awesome.
something else that I can help with, I am more than, happy to help. Is there anything
Super.
else?
Yeah, let me know. I've seen that you do a lot of things for women as well, women initiatives,
Yeah.
and yeah, whatever, we do everything together with the horses, of course.
Absolutely.
So, yeah.
Thank you so much for your time, Isabelle. You have
Thank you.
Bye.
You too. Bye bye. Take care.
Yeah, take care.